this without you, Father. Throughout my whole day today, I got to thinking everything that I was doing, Sam, everything that I was doing, I literally thought in my mind, I'm going to have to stop for a minute. I can't do this without you. More and more that I kept going on throughout my day, even coming here tonight, and I got out of that truck, parked over in my spot. I got out of that truck, and literally I said, people, I said, here's this service for you. I can't do this without you, Father. I don't know what to sing, Father, without you. I don't know the words to say. If you give me words, I wouldn't know what to say without your guidance, Lord. Stand up here now, just thinking how great it feels to give my Father praises right now. Of just telling him how much I love him. Taking a moment, right, just taking a moment to say, Lord, I love you. It's worth so much. I can only imagine this. Calvary called me up today. He called me up and he says, I'm sending you some pictures of what I found in the water. And it was an old rusted hook that he sent me. He found an old rusted worm hook. He found a jig, or a pig, well not a pig jig, but he found just a jig, not the pig, but he found an old jig. It was like a June bug color. And he found, pot is a good find too, the treasure. He found this little pawpaw. It was nice. As a father, my son just called me. And I wasn't expecting it. But when he did, and he called me and he sent those pictures, I got to thinking, I felt so good. And that has to be how much my Lord thinks whenever I say, hey, Dad, I just want to tell you that I love you. I was thinking about you. Look what I found today. Today, I went to this meeting where you know about it, but God, I couldn't make it without you, but thank you for that. And I can't imagine how, if I was so excited that Calvary called me out of the blue, if he just called me out of the blue, how excited I was. Think about it, guys, think about it. How happy do you think I bet he's still? He's fixing to say something. He's fixing to tell me he loves me. I know I can feel it. And he's waiting, he's waiting, he's waiting. All he needs to hear from you, Mark, is just say, Lord, I love you. Father, I love you. What do we have in store tonight? Because I'm all in for you. I love him that much. And I'm so thankful that everything that I do is because of him. And without him, I'll go ahead and tell you, go ahead and bury me. Because there's nothing in me that's good. There's nothing about me that even is worthy of getting up and breathing, getting up and walking, because he makes my everything, Mark. He makes it worthy for me to do what I have to do throughout the day. How many believe that? How many would be willing just to say, Lord, I love you, sporadically, out of the blue, to give him thanks and just be like, Lord, here I am, just thank you. He is that worthy, church. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I would almost wonder who would want to stand and tell him that. Anybody else want to give him praise tonight?
I love the Lord. I love everything he's done for me. All the blessings he gives me that I'm not worthy of. And the family he's given me that I'm not worthy of. I love him for everything.
Anybody else? Zach, if you'll stand for me. Daniel, I want you to stand up too. Sam, Mark, Jesse, Jeremy, Chris, you stand up there. Brian, I believe in this, and I know good well. And let's just give him praise tonight. If nobody else does, let's give him praise tonight. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God my yesterday's gone. And all my sins are forgiven. And I've been washed by the blood. And all my hope is in Jesus. Thank God my yesterday's gone. And all my sins are forgiven. And I've been washed by the blood. Thank you, guys. I love it. Anybody have a song they want to sing tonight? Anybody have a testimony you want to give him thanks and praise? Anybody? You guys have a song? Well, come on.
Play the music real loud and then they won't have to hear it.
Y'all play the music.
Years I spent in vanity.
Hey, it's page 139. It's page 139. If y'all would like to join, follow along.
Years I spent in vanity and pride, caring not my Lord was crucified, and knowing not it was for me he died on Calvary. And mercy there was great and grace was free, pardon there was multiplied to me. When there my burdened soul found liberty,
strolled along the street with his hands stretched out for peace, or just abide to read, like the story of that blind man, and Jesus on his way, and when the master touched, the man looked up, and the scoffers heard him say, somebody touch me, somebody touch me. I was blind, but praise his name, I now can see. I was in darkness when Jesus found me, but since he touched me, I now am free. Jesus Christ.
wanted to sit back and enjoy listening. And as everybody kept coming up, and they started talking, the Lord laid this song on my heart. And I hadn't even thought about this song in weeks. And we used to sing it, when my husband and I used to sing on the praise team. And it was just a song that we just did. I've never been able to make it through without the song. So I'm the crier of the bunch. So everybody else usually just takes over because I'm usually bawling up, turn around. But he started talking about how good God was. And then we sing a little bit, sing about how good God was. And it just keeps going, and it just keeps going. And so, anyway, I know everyone here knows this song, How Great Is Our God. Y'all help me with it, because I know I'll probably break down. So just keep going. Just ignore me. But anyway, the splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, and trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. And age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. He is named above all names. He is worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing, how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God.
I didn't come here to preach tonight, but I didn't come not to either. Mark asked me a little bit ago whether I had anything. I've had one for several weeks now. I was waiting. Go ahead, Bruce. I was waiting till the Lord give me liberty to do it. I've got a whole lot of stuff, and I doubt I'm gonna use half of what I've got. I've been going through a struggle, seems like here lately. For about the past year, Martin, I've been in a struggle. Martin knows, I've talked to him about it. It's been just a fight, seems like the whole time. I ain't never really been in a real fight, not too many of them at least. I know we've got some people here in the church that probably have been in a fight or two. There's all kinds of fights. We got some guys that go here, I know they like that MMA fight. And some of the older ones probably the boxing. I've got a question for you. This is part of my message, but it's not. How many people here have got lost loved ones that are not in church? That used to be in church? Have never been in church? Kids that are in sin. I've been fighting a battle at home about my kids. How many count yourself lucky at this point in time that your kids are still with you? Because there's going to come a time when they're going to grow up and they're going to go away. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 13. I'll be reading verse 13 and 14. And then verse 19 and verse 20. And like I say, I don't know how this is going to go. And I can tell you this is what the Lord's given me. And I'm not going to lie to you. I heard this message several months ago. Another preacher preached this message. But whenever the Lord started dealing with me, He started giving me different things. Nehemiah 13 says, "Therefore I sat in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places. I even set people after their families, with their swords, with their spears, and their bows. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, Be not afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses." And I said, and we're going to go over to verse number 19, said, "I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us. Our God will fight for us." Dear Father God, I just come to you right now, God, thanking you just for this opportunity, God, you give me, Lord, to stand behind your sacred desk. God, to be able to proclaim the word, God, that you've given me, God. Hoping, Lord, that it'll be an encouragement to somebody tonight, God, that somebody's life won't be lifted up, God. The problems that we go through every day, God. God, I know I'm not the only one, God, but I know, Lord, that you've got a way, you made a way of escape for us, God, that we could just kneel on our knees. God, we could call on your name, God. Anything that's in our lives, God, that you're not pleased with, Lord, that you can forgive us of it tonight. God, I pray tonight, God, that you'd help us, Lord, to be a better family. God, to here in the church, God, and to our kids, God, to our neighbors. I pray tonight, God, just do that what you be pleased with. I love you, I praise you, I thank you, God, for all that you've done. God, all the promises that you've made, Lord, all the ones you fulfilled and the ones we're still waiting on. God, we know you're not slack concerning your promises tonight. Have your way in our hearts and our lives. We love you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. My title for what the Lord has given me tonight is Fight for Your Family. There's a battle raging in this world that we live in today. And we got too many Christians that are in the churches and in the neighborhoods that aren't willing to stand up and fight the fight for their families no more. I've told y'all this story many times, and I'm going to tell you again tonight. In 2011, about the third week in 2011, I got up one morning and went to work. Having my normal day at work, and I got a phone call. Kendra's gone. No idea she was gone. Had no idea when I left to go to work that morning she was gone. Her and one of her friends that spent the night with her, she got up in the morning, about 1 o'clock in the morning, packed her stuff up and left. I'm going to tell you, I carried that burden around for that kid for months. For months. Until we were right here one Sunday night, the Lord said, you carried your burden. You fought the fight for her as long as you're going to carry it. I took her right down here and I laid her on this altar. And when I got up that night, I left her on that altar right there. I fought a fight for my daughter for many years, and I'm still fighting for her. But I know that she's in God's control. It don't matter where she goes to. It don't matter what shape her life gets in. She's still in God's hands. Now I've got 2 daughters that are out in the world. I've got friends that have got kids that are out in the world. But I can't do anything for them except for pray for them. Uplift them. Encourage them. Tell them when it's right. Tell them when it's wrong. You got kids that are living in sin, tell them they're living in sin. They need to know it. There's a lot of people too afraid to tell their kids. For a long time, I was one of them. I was afraid I was going to make them mad, and the other one would run off. Now, I'll tell you something. They'll run off, but they'll come back. They're always coming back home. The Bible says if we'll fight for our families, verse 14 says, fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives, and your houses. Fight for them. Devil's beating them down. Lift them up. Devil's trying to pull them into drugs. Lift them up. Devil's trying to get them to drink alcohol. Lift them up. The devil's just trying to tear them away from you. Like all you can do is lift them up. There's a few things that's worth fighting for. The belief that marriage is between a man and a woman in the United States is worth fighting for, Mark. The belief that just marriage itself is worth fighting for. Family members, daughters that are living with men they're not married to. They've got kids with men they're not married to. It's worth fighting for. Tell them. Marriage was set up between a man and a woman by God himself. It was ordained between a man and a woman. We got to take a stand for a few things. We've been pushovers in the church for way too long. Way too long. My grandpa, I heard a preacher say the other day, I told Mark, I probably listened to more sermons in the last month than I have in the last year. I listened to 5 today at work. Thank God that He gave me the time to be able to do it. There's a few things that we got to stand for. We got to fight for our families. We got to fight for our homes. We got to fight for our brethren. Mark, if you're beat down, Jason, if you're beat down, if I see that you're being beat down by the devil, I need to be lifting you up. I need to be fighting the fight for you. Sometimes we get weak. Our hedge gets a little bit knocked down, and somebody's got to stand in there and fill that gap up. Oh, Sanballat and Tobiah over here in this, at the start of this chapter, they were wroth with anger whenever they found out that God's people were going to rebuild the walls. Can I tell you, those walls are still being built today? Still being built. The ones that were built are still standing. They still pray at some of them every day. But you know what Nehemiah told them? Chapter 2 and verse 19 and 20. Told them, you ain't got no right to our city. You ain't got no right to our homes. You ain't got no right to our families. You ain't got no portion. This city is not going to be a memorial to you. We need to tell the devil that. You ain't got no right to our families. You ain't got no right to my wife. You ain't got no right to my kids. You ain't got no right to my neighbor's kids. You ain't got no right to my house. You don't have a right to my church. That's what we need to tell the devil instead of carrying down and letting him push his way through the door. We need to tell him, you ain't got no right here. You ain't got no portion. That's what Nehemiah told him. You ain't got a portion here. You can leave. Our marriages. We got to fight for our marriages. Because I can tell you one thing right now, if you leave a gap, or you leave any kind of looseness between you and your wife, or you and your future wife, if you're holding things back from each other, it's three things that we got to keep. We got to be loyal to God in our marriage. We got to be loyal to each other. We got to be loyal to our families. If you've got kids, they're your kids. They're your responsibility. God gave them to you. And He gave them to you for a reason. So I've heard parents say, I don't know why God gave me these kids. They just drive me crazy. I can tell you right now, they drive you crazy for a reason. There's a fight that needs to be fought. There's a whole lot of kids in this world don't have parents. A lot of them don't even know what it is to even walk through the door of a church. They wouldn't tell you what a church looked like if you walked them into one. They've never heard the Word of God. I work down there in a school that's got 100 kids, right out of 100 kids in it. And they're all troubled kids. Defects is in their homes. They've been pulled from their homes. They've been in some kind of trouble. They've been in trouble with the law. There's nearly 100 of them in the school where I work down there. Every one of them, if you go to every one of them, they got some kind of trouble in their life. And if you ask most of them, or if you dig into a lot of them's past, there's a lot of them that didn't have a family that fought for them. They never stood up for them. They never showed them anything. They never let them. They never took them to a house of God. Can I tell you, parents, if you're here tonight, it's not the church's responsibility to raise your kids. It's not the church's responsibility to teach them about the Lord. Because the church only gets them for about 3 hours a week. 4. An hour on Sunday night, an hour on Wednesday night, and a couple hours on Sunday morning. It's your responsibility to teach them about the Lord, and then they come and get fulfilling through the Lord at the church. Verse 14. God said, if you'll fight for your brother and your sons, your wives, and your homes, our God will fight for you. In verse 20. Having kids in these days, my mom used to say this, and that's one thing that my mom said that I didn't agree with a whole lot. That it was scary having kids in the days and times we live in. I love my mom to death, but my mom was a worrywart. Mom and Dad lives right beside us. And even though she was sick, I would walk up there to see her, and I'm talking about maybe 75 yards from her house to my house. Flat, pretty much, grassy. Nothing to really trip over, no holes to fall in, break your neck. And I'd walk up and I'd go see my mom, and before I got back to the house, she'd be calling down the house to make sure that I was all right. That I had made it, her baby boy had made it back home all right. Having a family is not a scary thing. It's having a family that's lost and dying and going to hell is the scary part, Mike. You got a kid that's lost and they're out in sin. It's scary. Both of my girls have claimed to be saved. I don't know whether that was or not. That's between them and God. But it's scary to see them living in the life that they're living. If you got kids that are here that are lost and they're living out in sin, it's a scary thing. I was thinking about Noah. Noah built that ark for a reason. The Bible says it was for the saving of his family. When the Lord laid it on his heart, it was for the saving of his family. Well, there was Noah and his wife, and 3 sons and 3 daughters-in-laws. You go over to the second book of Peter, it talks about how Noah was the 8th man. Noah was the 8th man. He was the last one to get on the ark. He made sure that his wife and his kids were safe. We got to fight a fight. We need to be fighting the fight to make sure that our kids are safe. We need to be making sure our neighbors' kids are safe. Our church people's kids are safe. Because it might not be the pastor that says the word that gets your child saved. It may be Jeremy. Or it may be one of the greeters out front that just shakes their hand and tells them God loves you. Or it may be something that they see. And it may be you. It's a great feeling to know that you've got, Mark was sitting there a while ago. Brother Mason got up here with you. And I'm going to tell her this, Mark, that you said it. Said you were a good influence on these littler ones because they look up to you. We need more people that the little ones look up to. That can look up to. That need to look up to. There's a lot of people out here in this world that people look up to. But a lot of them ain't worth looking up to. I thank God for young people, young men, young women that little kids can look up to. It's harder for a little bitty kid to look up to somebody like me than it is to look up to somebody else's age. God gave them to us for a reason. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19 and 20. I don't have to turn, I'm just going to read it. Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. If you're going to build something, if you're going to fight a fight, you've got to start somewhere. House of God's the easiest place there is to start fighting a fight. Easiest place there is. I can remember whenever I was growing up, my mom and dad, my mom mostly, took me and my sister to church all the time. Mom sang in a group, my papa was a preacher, and they went around and went everywhere. I can remember the seed being planted in my heart by hearing them old preachers preach that word. And I also remember the seed being planted in my heart and seeing the old timers. I thought it was funny back then, but now I realize what it was, the Holy Spirit. See them hopping around, bouncing around everywhere. Little bitty church ain't big enough. It wasn't much wider than one of these aisles right here. Out in the middle of nowhere, no air conditioning, no nothing. But they were fighting the fight. There was a real fight that was going on. The word being preached hard, souls being saved. That's something we don't see a whole lot of these days, is souls being saved. And it's not that the word has got any weaker, Mark. It's because the people ain't fighting the fight like they used to. I was just a kid, and I can remember going up the side of the road, there where my grandma and them lives at, and you would hear one guy over here in the woods praying over here. My grandma out there on her knees hollering out to the Lord, crying out to the Lord. My grandpa down here in the bean patch just stomping the bean patch dry because he had got happy with the Lord and the Spirit. You don't see that no more. We come into church and we put on this face. Well, I'm doing good enough. That's as good as I can do for this week. There's a fight that needs to be fought. And there's some things that's worth fighting for. We'll go on just a little bit longer, and I'm just about done. I was talking about Noah just a minute ago. When Noah got in, God shut the door. Well, there was another door that came to this world one day, and his name was Jesus Christ. You get in, you fight that fight. You get inside that ring, and you fight that fight. It's a whole lot more with the MMA fighters. They put them in that cage, and they shut that cage door. And when they're in, they're in. John chapter 10, verse 9 says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. Joshua said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Well, I can tell you right now, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. There's a fight that needs to be fought. I've got daughters that need fighting for. I've got neighbors' kids that live right beside me that need to be fighting for. Kids that I work with that are at the school, they need fighting for. Somebody's got to fight for them. If they don't, who will? Somebody had to stand on them walls over there with Nehemiah and fight the fight while somebody else was building. So you may be a bricklayer, you may be building the wall, but somebody's going to have to fight. They're going to have to stand in front of you, and they're going to have to guard you. They're going to have to fight the fight. If you got kids that are out in sin, plead the blood over them. There's nothing better to cover anybody with than that's the blood of Jesus Christ. It says it covers a multitude of sin. Parents, fight for your kids. I've got one question for you tonight. Actually, a little song that the kids sing. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little feet, where you go. Be careful, little heart. Careful, little ears, what you hear. Well, what if we swap that around? Says, what about the big eyes? What's the big eyes seeing that your kids are seeing? What kind of fight is your kids seeing you put up? What about your feet? Where's your feet leading? Where's your kids see your feet going to? What about what you hear? What are you listening to? You listen to what the world has, you listen to what God has. And the last one, what about your heart? What does your kids see? What kind of fight does your kids see that your heart is dedicated to? What kind of something you got in your life that you're dedicated to? Just my one question. Is where are your footprints leading your family? What kind of fight are you fighting for your family? What kind of fight are you fighting for your neighbor's kids? Because it's not just our kids, it's our neighbors' kids around us. I've got kids that used to live right beside me that I doubt that they've ever been to a house of God. It's sad to say that I lived right beside them for about 6 or 8 years and never offered to take them, not one time. What kind of fight are we doing? What kind of fight are we fighting? What kind of life are we living? I'll give y'all what God gave me, and it was all scattered, and it is what it is. But I know without a shadow of a doubt, Mark, that's what God gave me. There's a fight that needs to be fought. There's lives that need to be saved. And we need to be the ones that's doing it. Because the devil ain't going to do it. The devil ain't. He's going to fight his fight, all right. He's going to go seeking whom he may devour. The only fight that he fights is one that he thinks he can win. But I can tell you right now, there's one fight that he's already lost. And he knows it too, and that's the reason he does what he does. He ain't got no portion. He don't have a portion. His portion one day is going to be a lake of fire. That's going to be his portion. That's what we need to realize. We don't have to bow down to him. We're not set in this world to have to bow down to the devil. There's a fight that needs to be fought, and we as children of God, we need to be the ones that's doing it. So y'all stand with us. I think Tony's going to play something. If you're here tonight, maybe you just ain't been fighting the fight that you need to fight. Maybe you got kids that you ain't been fighting the battle for. Maybe you got neighbors' kids. Maybe you got church kids here at the church that you should have been doing something for that you ain't been doing. Come and talk to God about it. Somebody's got to fight for the kids. Somebody's got to fight for the church. Maybe you're here tonight and you just ain't been doing the fight in the church that you need to be fighting. Maybe you got something that you should have been doing that you ain't been doing. Maybe something you used to do that you don't do no more. Tonight will be a good night to join in the fight. Go ahead, Thomas.
There's nothing worth more that'll ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're my living hope.
churches that are under attack nowadays, but I'm telling you, it's the families. Families are under attack, which in turn infiltrate the churches in general. When Pee Wee was talking tonight about your family, everybody's got family members. My brother and my sister both have kids that's not church. And I got to thinking, how many times do I pray for them? I'm being honest. Being honest, I don't see them very once in a blue moon. But I'm thinking, I don't even lift them up. I don't even think enough of it to pray for them. You know, we heard a phrase, oh, we was at Emmaus, and you might say, well, Mark, my kids are done too far gone, they're done grown. What can I do now? You can always make a difference in their life. I don't care how far you think they're gone. But what you do, the question was asked to us. They said, what do you do when you've got a mess to clean up? So what do? You pick a spot, and then you start cleaning from there. But you got to pick a spot and start cleaning. You got to pick a time. We're going to start right here. We're going to start praying for them. We're going to start pouring in. But as long as you just sit back and say, I can't do nothing with it, nothing's going to change. Get involved. Make a difference. At least try to make a difference. Because I tell you what, they know they're in the wrong, just like Pee Wee said. And when it's something about them hearing it, they might go the other way for a while, but they're going to remember what you said. Remember what you said. And I ain't saying do it out of anger and meanness and malice and spite. Do it out of love. And I promise you, it'll start healing. It'll start healing. And Father, I thank you for tonight. I thank you for the Spirit. God, it has been so good in this place tonight. God, from all the songs and all the kids, God, how they are growing up in the Spirit, being able to worship you. Thank you for the ability, God, to give them the opportunity, Father, to learn how to worship. Father, to learn how, God, to follow your will. Father, may we all get in that same frame of mind, that same want to, God. Lord, not just wait on somebody else or look at our watch and say time's gone. God, this is all your time. Lord, I pray, God, for our families. I pray, God, for everyone's kids, for their grandkids, co-workers, lost loved ones, brothers and sisters, God. Just people within our inner circle, Lord, that need you. And God, may we not give up and not just throw in the towel and say, what's the use? God, may we bear down. God, pray even more fervently, dear Lord. God, when we start letting up, giving up, God, that's exactly what Satan wants us to do. Exactly what he wants us to do. Because we lose the effectiveness for the thinking prayer really makes a difference to God when we know it does. Lord, we lift all of our loved ones up to you right now, God. Draw them close to you is our prayer. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. And I thank y'all. I thank you for your prayers. I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for everything, for Wednesday nights. I mean, I just love the feeling of the Wednesday night. You know, it's just so much freer. Amen. Let's get our kids up.